Hey, this is your host, Rick Houston. Before we get down to business in this week's episode, how about hitting those subscribe, like, and notification buttons? With all that out of the way, let's get on with the show. You brought up Bristol and Kurt Busch. Did you consider that basically just a racing deal? Or?
Oh, fuck no.
Okay.
He intended on wrecking me. He was a no-good son of a bitch, Rick. He says I wrecked him at Bristol. I'm sorry. He said I wrecked him at Phoenix. I don't recall that. But then he wrecked me somewhere. Oh, it was Bristol. He tried to wreck me at Bristol. But I taught him a lesson at Indy. And that was pretty impressive at Indianapolis, wasn't it? Didn't even look like I hit him. And I was wishing he broke his neck. He was an ass. I can remember sitting one time with Earnhardt. And Earnhardt said to me, Spencer, he says, that son of a bitch ever put his finger up to me again, I'm going to break it up and stick it up his ass. So me and Earnhardt are sitting there one day in the driver's meeting. And Kurt, hell of a race car driver, very talented race car driver, comes over, and he was messing with Earnhardt. And that's the problem that Kurt had. Kurt thought that Earnhardt was nobody special. It was like, I remember Reggie White telling me a story. I was messing with Reggie some. And Reggie was in the tail end of his career, and this young running back or whatever gets out of the college, and he jukes Reggie. And he comes by, and he's doing the old chicken pox. The great Reggie White. Man, you don't say that to a 2,000-pound, 7-foot man that's going to stomp your ass. I loved old Reggie White. Got him together with Joe Gibbs to raise money for the inner city kids. It was pretty special. But anyway, Reggie proceeds to tell me the story. So, he say, man, I was tail end of my career, and the kid was pretty good. But he needed to learn respect. About the third quarter, I got his ass. And when I proceeded to put him in the ground, oh, Mr. White, Mr. White, let me tell you something, boy. Learn to respect the other players. Learn to respect the other players. He got up and told Reggie he was sorry, and he learned a valuable lesson. And Reggie said, that's the whole deal.
Yeah, after the wreck at Indy, this is right along those lines. Kurt said some things.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and you had some reaction to that.
I think that fuse was already lit for you. The boat had already sailed on whether or not you guys were going to be on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think we were going to be on the same page. Do you guys remember when Kurt said why was it there? At Bristol, when he said, you guys are at fault.
Yeah, I remember something like that.
Yeah.
Because I remember my PR guy saying, Mike
Davis?
Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Saying, this son of a bitch said that the media's at fault. Listen, he's on the phone with me. He's listening with these fans. Listen to these fans. He says, you're an instant hero. And Tony Stewart was the one that told me to shut up. Called me up on the phone. He says, you're fucked, Jimmy. They're not going to let you race. Don't you say a word. Just take it and go on. And actually, he gave me my TV job. And actually, I made more money doing that than I was racing. So it all washes. And I think what really fixed it, and I ain't going to go into what happened, because Rick told me the story. And then, Roush told me the story about why he fired Kurt. I don't want to get into that because it was pretty private stuff.
Yeah,
I remember when Jack knew what happened with Kurt and I at Michigan. Jack knew what happened. And he met with me and Mark Martin, actually in the bus, coming the next week at Darlington. And Jack says to me, he says, I am sorry. And I said, Jack, but you didn't tell the boys. You didn't tell the guys that it means to. I can't. I got 2,200 employees. I've got 20-some sponsors. That's why he had 5 teams. He's an asshole. But he said, I can't say that publicly. I can't. And I said, Jack, I can't accept your apology. You have to. Man to man. You understand business, but you understand personally. I'll make it up to you. I said, you know, Jack, I always respected you the most, and I really respect Mark. And I said, all right. So nobody knew what really happened. He didn't run out of gas. He deliberately parked the car. He said he was going to fuck up my family. Oh, that's why he got punched. I did punch him.
Kurt said he...
Yeah, he knew where I lived. He was going to fuck up my family. Really? No, you're not. Bang. You know, what are you going to do?
Right.
So I knew it was a mistake. But on the other side of it, I could care less.